Hello, friends, and welcome into another one of our weekly updates from our team here at NC Family alongside John, Jerry. I'm Mitch. We've got a lot to get to for this week, ending March the 20th, Friday, March the 20th. John, a lot happening around the state. One race still out there, and that's the Senate District 26 race between Sam Page and Phil Berger. It's a Republican primary. If you've turned on the news lately, you've probably seen that Senator Berger has requested a recount. John, tell us a little bit about what that recount looks like and what the recourse is moving forward.
Well, taking a step back, of course, Senator Phil Berger is the president pro tem or the leader of the state Senate. He was challenged in the Republican primary in Rockingham and Guilford counties in this district, Senate District 26, by Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. The result of the election so far is that Sheriff Page came out the victor in the election by 23 votes. Again, 23 out of 26,247 votes that were cast. So an incredibly slim margin of victory so far for Sheriff Page. As you said, Mitch, there's a recount that is underway. They're basically going to be feeding all of the ballots back through machines to recount to confirm whether that 23 vote difference is accurate or not. Senator Berger also filed a number of complaints, you might say, with the State Board of Elections questioning a number of ballots, voters who reported that they may not have received the correct ballot, things of that nature. There were also a number of ballots that were called undervotes where nobody had expressed a preference in that particular race. The State Board of Election basically did not consider that complaint as of yet. They said they're going to let the recount move forward as it stands right now, and so there's still a lot of things that could happen with this race, but you know, it's going to be very interesting to watch and see what transpires over the next week. I believe that the vote recount is supposed to be done by the 25th, which is next Wednesday, and so we'll see what things come of this either then or before that time.
So we'll keep you up to date on all of that as it continues to transpire. Jerry, getting into Raleigh, specifically the General Assembly, you were down at the building a few days this past week, watching some committee hearings on property taxes, among other things. Tell us what we need to know about happenings inside the General Assembly.
Well, it is interesting. That is one of the areas, as I know we've mentioned, each month since July, they've set aside 4 consecutive days each month when they could come and vote on the budget or other issues. But primarily all the activity really has been the committee meetings. And there are a number of select committees that are studying various things. This particular one has been looking at property tax in North Carolina. Can there be some changes? And this week, they actually mentioned the possibility is what they're considering is a constitutional amendment, which would be on this November's ballot.
Wow.
Which would, if the legislature has to pass it by 3/5 vote, both chambers, it would go to the people to limit the amount of increase. I mean, they had stories, one of the members of the committee said last year their taxes had gone up 50%, over 50%. And so what they're doing is going to try to set up a system where there'll be limits based on things like inflation, population growth. I think they worked out all the details, but it would go to the people to say, is this something that the people of North Carolina want? So that's a possibility. That's the type of activity that is going on at the legislature right now. We're still hopeful and prayerful that they will eventually get to the budget vote, work out the differences that exist right now.
So one more of those weeks scheduled for April the 6th, the week of April the 6th, and then the short session, John, will start on April the 21st, and so we'll see how things go from that point forward, whether or not we have budget talks, any bills that continue to move through the process. We'll keep you up to date on those things. On a sadder and heavier note, however, John, the passing of Representative Mike Clampett this week. Tell us a little bit more about Representative Clampett.
Well, Representative Clampett was a dear friend, just a wonderful person, beloved by most everybody at the General Assembly.
Yeah.
Just a very wonderful disposition, a desire to really serve, especially the people of Western North Carolina, which was his home district. He was in his fourth term in the General Assembly. He served a term in 2017-18, and then was unseated, and then came back in 2021 and was serving in his third consecutive term since. Represented Haywood, Jackson, and Swain counties in the far western part of the state. Was a mountain man, a fireman, and just, again, a beloved individual who really represented his area very well. Jerry, I know you had a pretty good relationship with Representative Clampett, too.
Just like you say, very friendly, very supportive of a lot of the things that we know and believe are important issues. But he was just a colorful personality. I mean, even the way he dressed.
And a colorful dresser.
He was.
That's right.
He was. But most of all, who he was as a person.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful, wonderful man. You know, and you get to know the people down there and their person. And he's one of the ones who, I mean, you always, every once in a while, would think about the sacrifices that all the members make to serve. As far as distance and driving, he was out there at one of the longest drives. And you think about people doing that week after week, making that round trip.
It's a sacrifice.
It's about a 5.5 hour one-way drive to Raleigh or back. And so, it's quite a sacrifice and quite an investment. And I think Representative Clampett is just an example of some of the wonderful people that are serving in the General Assembly. We're very fortunate. Often we don't hear about just the good people that are seeking to make a positive difference in your local government, in your state government, in your federal government. But he is definitely an example of one who has made a very positive difference. Again, has represented his constituency well, but also had the state of North Carolina, the entire state, at heart in his efforts. And so he will be missed, and let's definitely be in prayer for Representative Clampett's family, friends, constituents in his district, and also for his colleagues at the General Assembly, because this is his loss will be an impact for many, especially close friends that he's had for years in the General Assembly.
Yeah. Representative Brendan Jones posted a picture on social media today of a flag, a North Carolina flag, draped across his desk and chair. And the caption said, "This gives me chills." And I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, that's a significant picture. So.
Well, and one last note, too, just how much he was beloved. I mean, here in Raleigh, but obviously back home, he's had illnesses recently, yet he chose to run for re-election. Had two opponents in the primary and won by a very strong vote, which is just a great testimony to how the people at home loved him as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, to end on a more upbeat note, we're excited to announce our Raleigh dinner that's coming up on May the 14th, and our special guest and keynote speaker for the Raleigh dinner on May the 14th at the Angus Barn is going to be Federal Trade Commission Chairman Andrew Ferguson. John, he's going to be speaking to his role as the chairman of the Federal Trade Commission in regard to fair trade practices for doctors and parental rights with children. What more do we need to know about what he'll be speaking about?
Well, I think it's fascinating that the chairman of the Federal Trade Commission, which usually deals with business issues, and these are business issues, but there are issues too.
Absolutely.
Is whether or not doctors who perform gender-affirming care type practices, either through chemicals or surgeries, are engaging in unfair and deceptive trade practices. I think that's fascinating. He's also using his position as the chair of the FTC to go after big tech for being irresponsible and not responsive to concerns about the impact that technology is having on our children, and also undermining the rights of parents to oversee the care of their children. And so he is, I think, probably for the first time in history or in recent history, utilizing this high position in our federal government to raise issues about children's health, about parental rights, and about the strength and importance of the family to the structure of our society. So I've heard him speak, as you have, Mitch, a couple of times at events that we've been to. Just an incredible individual, super smart, as you would expect, but it's just very encouraging and exciting that he is using this position to pursue these initiatives. So it's going to be a wonderful, exciting, and very interesting evening.
We hope to see you on May the 14th here in Raleigh at the Angus Barn. There's a link down below for sponsorship opportunities. You can click that link to learn more. Jerry, one last thing before we go. At the recording of today's video, March the 19th, it is the beginning of March Madness. And so I'd imagine you've got a team you're pulling for. I know you've got a team you're pulling for. I've picked a team. I'm not going to say who it is at this table because I might get in trouble. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting tournament and lots of teams in the triangle in the tournament. So that was fun. For John, Jerry, me, and the rest of our team, including Anna Scott, who hasn't yet picked a team for the March Madness Bracket Challenge, we are glad that you watched our video. We hope that you have a great day and a great weekend, and God bless everyone.